What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's Daily Source with myself, Noah Hammond-Turrell. This is the show where, after I meditate, I tap into my intuition and I give myself the guidance that I most need to hear. I share it with all of you. And at the end of the show, I ask myself a question to ponder to help put that advice into play in my life. It is a daily practice of mine I rewatch the videos later and get the download for my own growth and expansion. And that is what we do here on the Daily Source. So welcome, episode 170. Let's see what's coming through today. What do I most need to hear for my highest good and for the highest good of all other beings involved? Live from source. There's an opportunity available to you in any given moment to be living from fear or living from love is what a lot of people typically call it. Another way to look at it would be living in alignment with source truth and living out of alignment with source truth. The reason that you've trained your intuition and that you've spent the last decade or so developing your connection to the stillness within your own being is because you're gradually heading towards this destination where you live in a consistent or constant alignment with source. Now, the word constant is an interesting one here because you're human, and to err is to human. But the closer you get to a consistent or constant connection to the source inside you, to a clear understanding of your intuitional guidance, the more sourcely you become, the more of a sorcerer you become, the more you manifest your reality in harmony and alignment with your divine purpose, your divine truth, and all of the goodness that can come from you living in alignment with your divine purpose and divine truth. So there's direct correlation, and you've seen this in your life, that the more consistently you operate from the connection to source, the more harmonious, joyous, expansive, and gratitude-filled your life becomes. I'm smiling because it wants me to say something I don't want to say. Okay. So a really great example of this for you would be with your relationship to marijuana. For the longest time, you knew that your source guidance was telling you to stop smoking marijuana, to stop using it in the way that you were. And you would know that guidance is true, and then you would do it anyway. Your humanness would say, I'm going to do this anyway. Your habits would say, I'm going to do this anyway. Your brain, your identity would declare the source guidance invalid or valid but not important. And you would go and do the habit anyway. And it was hindering many things in your life. It was hindering a clearer connection to your channel. It was hindering a clearer focus in your business. It was hindering a clearer connection to yourself, to your body. And you've also experienced, after a long hiatus, times when your intuitional source said that that was an okay behavior. And in those times, it actually created more harmony, more connection, more of your true self emerging from that behavior. And the key difference, the only distinction, because the behavior is the same, the only distinction is whether or not your source guidance was giving you the instruction that that was what was in highest alignment for your highest good in that given moment. And that's the key distinction for every behavior that you do. This is why you're such a fan of muscle testing. This is why when you're building your marketing for your clients, you're muscle testing all the words, because ultimately you're asking source, hey source, is this sourced? Is this sourced? Is this sourced? Is this sourced? And as you consistently and constantly seek that connection, that guidance, and that affirmation, you are perpetually improving your ability to understand and identify the truth of that connection. And your ego and your identity has less and less of a hold on your understanding of that connection, and that connection becomes more and more truthful. Because even when you think you're connecting to your source, there's times when you're not. You're being tricked. You are identifying with an ego structure that is separate from your source. But with, like anything, practice makes perfect. The more you practice, the more you flex that muscle, the stronger it becomes, the more truthful it becomes, and the more aligned you become as someone who is following it and listening to it. And it takes extreme humility to understand that your entire identity and all the skills that you have as a human are simply here to be in service to a divine emergence that wishes to come through you. It takes extreme humility to recognize that the I that thinks it's an I does not matter, literally at all matter, that the I that you think is I does not even really exist, but it only exists as an emanation here in service to the source that wishes to experience reality through the eyes of this creation. And your job as a being perpetually developing itself back into a oneness experience or consciousness is to continue to deepen that connection to the point where there is no difference, where you are living in a perpetual state of sourcedness or sorcery. Comparison to your guru, who is always walking around in a state of nirvikalpa samadhi, right? He's being sourced 100% of the time. It's why he emanates. It's why he waterfalls energy out. Anytime you connect to him, you get that blast from him. It's because he's always being sourced. He's never identifying with the illusory reality of his humanness, though he uses it and utilizes it as a vessel for what his aspect of source is here to do in this reality. Okay. Anything else? So enjoy the journey back to source as the purpose of your life, and recognize that when you are in alignment with what is true in your own heart, as it is sourced as clearly as possible from your truth, you can do no wrong, and you will create perpetually more harmony in your life and in the lives of all of those around you. Cool. All right, powerful question for today. Is there anything I can do to commit myself more towards this experience of being sourced 100% of the time? Is there anything I can do to more authentically, more humbly embrace my desire to be a vessel and conduit for source expression out into the world, free of the injured identity, free of the lack or separate identity? Is there anything I can do to deepen, to strengthen my commitment and my expression of that connection? Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks for your comments, Josh Blinder. Good to see you, brother. Glad it's resonating. Thanks for sharing it as always, man. I appreciate you, brother. That's it for today's Daily Source, everyone. As always, sending you all tons of love and positivity and good juju for your day. Make it an amazing one. And I'll see you again soon on the Daily Source. Bye for now.